Welcome back once again. This is Mukul Yudhvir Singh for Autocar Professional, and sitting here with me, a man who always brings a smile on my face, Vinkesh Gulati for ASDC. Yeah. Vinkesh, how are you?
I'm great. Awesome meeting you here also in this today's conference. Yeah.
ASDC, aftermarket, skilling. Let's talk around that because a lot is changing in the aftermarket, and for that lot to be the best, skilling would be one of the parameters. Do you agree?
So I agree, but I feel somewhere the bigger problem is not today's skilling. The problem is aftermarket is that it has been always taken aftermarket as a department or a vertical not to be touched by OEM, and that is where the problem is. We have gone through a lot of upgradation in the ICE engine from BS0 to BS6. But even today, the aftermarket people or the team is not well versed of how to repair a BS6 in the right way. I'm not saying they are not able to do it. They have the required skill of repairing it, but the kind of diagnostic equipments they need or the OEM provides the authorized dealers, they still don't have a comparable thing. They still have something where they are able to diagnose, but not as to the same level how authorized dealers are doing. So the bigger problem today to talk about is the people who are not yet upgraded to the current life of ICE engine, which is BS6. How do you expect them to be upgraded for the future technologies which we are seeing in the vehicles? Today, actually, it is what? It's a mobile on four wheels. There's no talk about engine in those vehicles. The problem where we used to talk about there is a black smoke in engine or the spark plug or the carburetor is jammed is a thing of past. These things don't happen in the vehicle, even in ICE also. Forget about EVs. So they have been trained on those. I still remember 10 years, 20 years down the line, the technicians, when a vehicle was started, they could judge with that start sound and the exhaust output that what is the fault in that vehicle. But today you can't do that, and they have been trained or mastered in that skill. So the problem today is their adaptation towards the technology watches of the future and the support from the whole auto industry. And why it is important today is because the Right to Repair Act is in the works. And the way it is going on, it's not a long future what we see. It will be activated. Once the Right to Repair Act is there, every customer will want that I can get my vehicle repaired wherever I want. Even if I don't want to go to authorized service station, then too. So if I buy a vehicle and I'm not bothered about what 500 or 2,000 rupees of free service an OEM provides, and I want that my vehicle should be serviced in my place by a technician who can be an aftermarket or an authorized dealer, I don't bother. Then obviously the person, because of the Right to Repair Act, should be aware of everything. And to become aware of, the OEMs will have to give away all the details. So today, for them getting the parts catalog, for them getting the wiring harness diagram, or for them getting the how to repair an item, is a challenge. No doubt things have improved. There are a lot of OEMs which are publishing. But if you take it further, it's still not fully available in the market. So with that Right to Repair Act, everything will come in. And then the major skilling gap will come because as of today, the aftermarket team is not even skilled 100% for BS6. And now we expect with the Right to Repair Act coming in, they'll be repairing even electric vehicles. So the gap will be huge, and that is where the challenge at Automotive Skill Development Council is today. So why it's a bigger challenge for us, because today they are not required to service a BS6 engine, because normally 2020 BS6 came in, and most of the vehicles are in warranty, or still there are a lot of complexity of diesel engines having DEF and all those things. So they are still not going to aftermarket. But with the Right to Repair Act, everything will go to aftermarket. And their skilling will be more important. And OEMs today, it's their duty also to provide all the information so that they can have a way of repairing those vehicles. So like giving the proprietary diagnostics tools out, giving the proprietary diagrams of all the vehicle wiring and all those things to them, because those are actually today only provided to authorized dealers. So our technician have those videos and all those things where they can see and repair a vehicle. But aftermarket team doesn't have. So where all I feel the full auto fraternity has to come together and make all of this open to the market. Because practically, if you we're just in the conference in the morning, 15% vehicle are new. 85% are vehicle which has to be supported by aftermarket. And we don't have the capacity in authorized dealers to cover all those 85%. So if we don't create a good team in aftermarket, these vehicles life cycle will reduce or the customers won't be happy with that vehicle. So our duty towards them also, the customers and the aftermarket team, is to support them to be ready for that.
Interesting. Right to Repair Act, right? So I am guessing that the two key challenges here are going to be one, as you said, diagnostic tools, and two, reskilling. Am I correct there?
You're right.
Interesting. When do you think this Right to Repair Act would actually be implemented on the ground?
See, I see the government policies you cannot predict. But the way it is going on slowly and steadily, OEMs are understanding that this will happen. They have to open up. So some of them has opened. Obviously, they have not opened for the latest vehicle. They have given some data on their websites where people can use on the BS0 to BS4 vehicles, not for BS6. There are some who have given some good information also. Even if it takes 2 to 3 years, but I feel the way is not far. And even 2-3 years is very less to skill the aftermarket people. Because if you can say there are some authorized, maybe around 1 lakh technicians working in the dealership, there will be at least 10 lakh aftermarket technicians working on the road. If I see from the 2-wheeler to 3-wheeler to 4-wheeler front. Training them in even 2-3 years is next to, I don't think so. I shouldn't say impossible, but it's actually same. Getting them on a platform, training them, it becomes very difficult. So I'm thankful to a lot of partners which partner us as CSR, like BPCL has partnered us a 1-day reskilling course where they are asking us to skill the technicians who are working on BS4 engine to give them a BS6 training. That's possible because they are already working on BS4 and there is only major 10% item which has changed. So training can happen in a day and the evening we do an assessment and then the skilling. But if I have to train them on EVs also, it can't be a day's program and it will need a lot of support from the OEMs, the component manufacturers, the oil companies to support us in CSR or even giving us a platform where we can do this because you need a lot of money to give that. And I believe the aftermarket people won't have that kind of money to spend to travel to a place to take a training and then do it. As a CSR, we all are responsible to give that training so that our vehicles are maintained better. Our customers get a better service. Our customers are able to run the vehicle better, which as an auto industry should be our goal.
Interesting. Among all the associations in India, right, the two associations for automotive that are directly connected to consumer are FADA and ASDC. Right. Now, I wanted to understand this Right to Repair Act because I'm sure you've spoken to a lot of end consumers. Are they actually looking ahead to Right to Repair Act for new cars?
See, anything which comes in, so initially you don't get that much of hype. But there are at least 10-15% of and majorly the young gen who really want to. Today they are not. So I'll tell you another story. So there is a market in India where the people are going to good aftermarket people to get their vehicle tuned.
But the problem, Vinkesh sir, I'll please continue after this. But the problem, I live in Faridabad, right? The problem is there are not really a good number of good aftermarket people.
So that is what I'm coming. There are still few, and people try to find them so that they can get their vehicle repaired to their satisfaction, even retune. There are a lot of things happening because a vehicle's tuning can change how the vehicle works. You want to need a speed, or you want to have a better efficiency. So all those is possible today, and of the Amazons and all that, people are buying OBD to check what is the problem in their vehicle. There are a lot of people interested in that. They don't have the opportunities today because all those OBDs are all imported Chinese items which are coming in. So one of our partner who is showing their product today has made an similar diagnostic tool as the OEMs are supplying to automatically, not as good as them because he doesn't have that proprietary information of everything, but it's just costing 30,000 rupees, where you can put in all your important equipment like dashboard, the speedometer, the ECU, and find out what is the fault in the vehicle. So people are doing that. There are interest, but because the information available is not in the market, that is why people are not wanting to, because buying a vehicle is an important thing for an Indian human. And it's what, 2 or 3 or maybe max 4 times they buy a vehicle. So they don't want to play, they don't want to take risk. But the day we have a Right to Repair Act, the day we have the information across systems where they can go through what is going wrong in the vehicle and what they can do to correct it, I'm sure people will be interested. So today there is maybe 10% or 15% of buyers are interested to know about it. 5% are interested to at least do it by their own hand if they can get those support system. Because as of today, you're not able to get parts on the, I'll not say grey market, but out of dealerships. So they don't want to risk, even if they open and they don't get the parts, and then they have to go again back to the authorized dealer where he says that you have opened and it will be out of warranty. So all those risks they don't want to. The day it is open to the market, I am sure the customers are interested. And Indian, you see, DIY is a very important thing. They want to do everything. They want to try everything.
Yes.
And the way things are going in the current generation, where they are too much interested, they are curious on how things work. Once we give them the platform and the information, they'll get into it.
Interesting. But do you think that, aftermarket would need to, especially the garages that we were speaking about just now, right? Do you think they would need to invest a lot in, sourcing the diagnostic tools and also reskilling? Will that
So that is what I was telling you, because as an auto industry, it is our duty as a CSR to get them to a level.
Okay.
A level where the vehicles what customers are using are repaired genuinely well. I'm not saying the best of the quality. So automatically, if there are 100 people, there'll be 10 of them who will want to invest in themselves, in their workshop, and become an outflyer. It's similarly like the authorized dealers are there. You have 20 workshops in Delhi. Still people go to the 5. The rest, they go because of the close proximity of their home, or if they don't have that important job, a normal service. But the day they get stuck, they want to go to a workshop which is good. The same thing will happen in aftermarket also. People will try and come to know, there'll be reviews, there'll be friends, word of mouth, where they'll say. So like in Delhi, even today, there are names like Automart or Pandit, and all those people still go to them. The vehicles which have been discontinued, even the premium luxury, they are still supporting them by servicing them. So we'll have those outliers which will invest on them and give a similar or a better experience than an automobile authorized workshops.
Interesting. One last question for you, Vinkesh. Sir. 5 years from today, where do you see India's aftermarket industry heading?
I feel this is the right time for aftermarket to grow, and everything is there. So first time ACMA has come up to organize such a big conference and an event like based on aftermarket. And I'm happy to see a lot of exhibitors today exhibiting products which are supporting aftermarket. I see a lot of interest coming in from component manufacturers who before, because of other reasons, weren't ready to supply their parts in aftermarket, now coming up and doing that, because the grip of the principals are slowly going down because they are now exporting and they become too big. So leave apart the top 6 manufacturers, all the other some of the component manufacturers are bigger than the other OEM manufacturers in this. So they are supporting the aftermarket, and ACMA coming up supporting aftermarket is a great impetus to go. So 5 years from down the line, and if right to Repair Act comes somewhere in between, we'll see a major growth in aftermarket. And frankly speaking, once that aftermarket comes into it, so because today it's more of an unauthorized way and their data doesn't come in the system, with ACMA supporting it and people like Ramashankarji becoming a major force talking about it, I'm 100% sure we'll see organized aftermarket becoming huge. At least I'm sure we'll go at least 10 times or 20 times from what we have today. And frankly, if you see, like I told you, 50% vehicles are new, 85%, which clearly shows this is what around 6 times or 7 times the market what we have. It will be tough to say that this 5 years we'll see 6 times or 7 times growth happening, but we'll see at least a double growth happening in 5 years where aftermarket will become huge.
Interesting. Though I said it was the last question.
You're welcome.
But there's one more question.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've heard this a lot of times here since yesterday that right now the aftermarket growth is being driven by rural India and not the urban centers. Once this Right to Repair Act comes in, do you think that the growth would continue to be driven from rural parts of the country?
See, I'll tell you why the story is coming, that it is coming from the rural. The metros today are very much controlled by a lot of regulations. The traffic imposition or the enforcement is higher in places like Delhi, Bombay than the rural market.
Yes.
So, like Delhi, you can drive more than 10-year diesel vehicle, but it's actually not scrapped. At 9th or 9.5 year, it is being transferred to a rural market or a tier 2, tier 3 market.
Right.
So that is why you see the gap, what you are talking about, that rural is growing. With Right to Repair Act, I'm sure there'll be some growth happening here also. But this shift is majorly because of regulation and not because of being a tier 1 or tier 2 town.
Okay.
Like Maharashtra, if you go through, High Court has just suggested government to work on something where they fix a lifetime period for the vehicles. Delhi, the latest policy is coming on shifting on EVs and talking of 6 months or something. And by some years, they are moving out of ICE. So obviously, when the latest technology is more allowed and not the old technology is not allowed, the aftermarket value in that places where the latest technology is being used is not so much. Whenever the vehicle goes off that major grid, then the aftermarket support is also there. So I feel this will continue. The metros and the tier 1 cities will have less aftermarket active than the tier 2, tier 3 cities because of this. And we should also consider the purchasing power also. So older vehicles, used vehicles, exchange vehicles, used car market is more prevalent in tier 2, tier 3 towns than the tier 1 and the metros. And that is where. So our average vehicle in Delhi, Bombay, I'm not talking about the taxis and all, would be 5 to 7 years from the first owner, 3 to 7 years. So that is where the things change. So rural will again be a growth story for the aftermarket, no doubt, but because of these characteristics also.
Interesting. You are listening to Vinkesh Gulati. This is Mukul Yudhvir Singh signing off for Autocar Professional. Stay tuned.